I cannot believe we are a week away from the 2026 season, Parker. Oh man, I'm so damn excited.
I'm so excited. This is like my favorite episode of the year where we get to give our in-depth, granular predictions. Uh, Everybody like the video, subscribe, send it to your friend. This is the one that we need to perform really well because, God, it's my favorite thing. It's going to be my pinned tweet for the next 5 months. So, like, come on, we're going to do our predictions and you guys are going to like it.
I love it. Let's waste no time and get into it. We'll be doing two sets of predictions, folks. The first is we'll be giving you the kind of core three awards in each league. We will be predicting the MVP, Cy Young, and Rookie of the Year for the AL and the NL. Parker and I will be giving you our picks, and then we're going to run division by division and give you the standings order with the wins for those teams. And of course, as we go through that exercise, Parker, we're going to quickly discover who's making it into the playoffs for 2026, at least through our eyes. Parker, let's start with these awards. Let's just start with the big one. Let's dive into this. Start with MVP in the AL, Parker. Okay, who do you have for the AL MVP?
For the AL MVP, I'm going to go back to where we've gone for the last few years. I'm going to go back to familiar
Don't
ground.
do
And
it.
if you heard me talk during our WBC recap episode, which if you haven't seen it, you should definitely go like that video, but after you like this one. Um, it's going to surprise you if you already watched that video, but I'm picking Aaron Judge because if there's one thing Aaron Judge can do, it's hit home runs in the regular season. Um, and I think he's going to hit a bunch of them again. And also, you know what else this is? This is a bit of a protest pick because last year I truly believed that Cal Raleigh deserved the MVP. I
Yes.
still to this day think that Cal Raleigh deserved that MVP last season. And if we're not going to give it to Cal Raleigh last year, are we really going to give it to anybody this year? Besides Aaron Judge, like if he hits another 50 something home runs, like it's like, okay, cool. It's Aaron Judge's award to lose.
I'll tell you what, Parker. It's an all right pick. You're lucky that they don't. You're lucky they don't consider postseason performance for MVP, or they wouldn't be picking Aaron Judge. But
Aaron Judge is
um,
certainly lucky they don't consider postseason performance for MVP.
that's for damn sure. And I'll tell you though, you talk about who else would they pick other than Aaron Judge, and I'm gonna tell you that it could very well be Bobby Witt Jr.
Could
Why?
be.
It's because when we were talking about most valuable players, I really like to look at that based on the definition of valuable. And when you have a guy like Bobby Witt who can steal you 30 to 40 bags, hit 30 to 40 bombs in a good year, and play platinum glove defense, this is a guy who, in all facets of the game, is absolutely the most valuable player if he has the season that I expect him to have. So if there's anyone who's going to make a run at Aaron Judge for an MVP, it could very well be Witt.
Yeah. If I will tell you that out of our two picks for AL MVP, I hope yours is correct. Bobby Witt, him and Pete Crow Armstrong. I've said this for a couple of years now. Are my two favorite ball players in baseball that are not Red Sox.
Yeah.
I like them more than about every Red Sox player other than Roman Anthony, I think. I love those two guys. I love Bobby Witt. He, especially right now, appears to be in midseason form, at least defensively. He is an
Yeah.
absolute freak. We saw it in the WBC. He made some of the most incredible plays at shortstop you're going to see all season. And he seems like if he can keep the bat going and continue to swipe bags the way that he does, I mean, he's already been paid. So he has reached the freedom that Mike Trout reached when he signed his extension with the Angels. Just go
Yeah.
play ball. You're no longer worried about of course, everyone wants to stay healthy, but you're not worried about staying healthy. You're not losing money by not being healthy. You have your bag. You have your mission, which is go win the division because your team is probably going to be in the hunt this year for it. So go do it. Vinny Pasquantino looks like he's in midseason form, and he and Bobby Witt are going to be in the middle of that lineup along with Jack Caglione. And if that Royals team can have all those guys firing on all cylinders, it's exciting. So I would love to see Bobby Witt win an AL MVP on the back of like a surprising Royals division winning performance. That'd be like cloud nine for me.
Let's move over to the NL MVP. Parker, we have a theme going here. You're picking the obvious ones. I'm kind of going off base
Mm-hmm.
a little bit. I'm giving some other guys a chance here, but you clearly decided not to. Who did you pick for your NL MVP?
Okay, that comment about giving somebody else a chance. We'll get to that in a second. But I'm going
Stop.
Shohei Ohtani.
Stop.
I'm going
Oh,
Shohei Ohtani, the guy who makes a new roster spot on your team, the guy who
yeah.
can go 50-50 and also throw a shutout. Um, he's on the NL Cy Young Award odds, and I think it's just because of his name.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, but he's
Yeah.
listed as like the fourth overall person for the Cy Young. And while I don't think he'll ever win a Cy Young, he's definitely an electric factory of a baseball player, and he is the best hitter on his team, probably, even though he's also pitching, and he's like the second best pitcher on his team. So yeah, I'm gonna go Shohei Ohtani purely because of the fact that he's the best player baseball has ever seen, and I fully expect that to continue in 2026.
Well, I can't disagree with you there. And if we're just being honest, of course, the odds-on favorite is going to be Shohei Ohtani until he proves otherwise, which may very well be never because he's going to play till 45 and have the best seasons of his life. But here's the deal with this: is I agree. I think he's the best player in baseball. I agree. It's his award to lose every year as long as he's playing the game. However, I have mixed feelings about that. He deserves it. He's incredible. But wow, if I'm any other player in the National League between now and the next 7 years, I'm really discouraged that I may never win an NL MVP.
Yeah,
But there's one guy that I have my eye on, and it's because he looks good, he looks healthy, he definitely looked good in the World Baseball Classic. And this is a guy that when he is on, he's giving you 41 homers, he's giving you 73 stolen bases and a 337 average. Yes, I'm going back to 2023, Ronald Acuna Jr. Now, Parker.
I love that. This is what I meant when I said you're going to give another guy a chance. Just the guy who went 40-70 2 seasons ago.
All right. Well, again, context. It's Shohei and all of the others, right? I mean, come on.
Yeah,
But
fair, fair.
but your point is valid. Is we are going to give him a chance, but a much earned chance, because Ronald Acuna Jr. Parker, if you don't have Baseball Savant open, you and everyone else watching, go to Baseball Savant right now and pull up his 2023 Baseball Savant page. That is a sight to behold. Talk about an incredible hitter's Baseball Savant. Not only is it red, it doesn't even fit on my iPad screen. It's all red. Okay, so
Yep.
I just tend to think that if he could stay healthy for a full season, he can absolutely be an MVP candidate, of course, but he could really push this Braves team up in the standings when they need it the most.
Yeah, talk about a team that needs a guy to be a guy. I mean, it's Blood Red
Yeah.
Savant page, like you said. It's Ronald Acuna Jr. Interestingly enough, I don't think we're ever going to see those stolen base numbers from him again.
No.
Because since the double ACL tears, he's sitting around a 64th percentile sprint speed. That's not because he necessarily got slower. It's because he's trying not to get hurt, guys. And that's fine. I'm not worried about that. I need his bat in the lineup more than I need his legs in the base paths. That's always kind of the first thing to go when people start getting hurt. I don't know. Mike Trout ring a bell. Shohei Ohtani, even once he started pitching again, like significantly fewer stolen bases. That's just kind of the first thing to go. I think Ronald Acuna Jr. is going to have a great season. I hope he does really well. This is not the same thing as last one where I don't have Shohei fatigue. I don't know if I ever will.
Yeah.
I actually looked back the other day. I don't know if you've done this yet, but think about all the incredible athletes we've ever been able to watch in our lifetime. Like I sat down and it kind of hit me the other day, like how lucky I was to have watched prime Tom Brady, to have watched the entire career
Yeah.
of LeBron James, to have watched Steph Curry's entire career. All of these like institutional, like Albert Pujols, maybe one of the most forgotten legends of baseball. I know he's still alive. I know he just retired, but
Yes.
like, what an incredible player we got to watch play baseball. And the fact that Shohei Ohtani's here and we can watch him and it's happening in our lifetime, our kids will not believe us when we tell them how good he was. So just soak it up. I'm really glad everything he does is saved permanently on the internet on video.
Wow, I couldn't have said it better myself. That's a great way to think about that. Absolutely special what we're watching. All right, so the summary of that is Shohei Ohtani NL MVP for all of eternity. All right, so
Probably.
let's move on to the Cy Young Award. I'll let you take it away for the Cy Young and the AL, Parker, because it's one of your dudes.
Yeah, I think we agree on this one. I think we agree. Garrett Crochet, both a guy that's close to both of our hearts. A guy that both of us want to see do really well. A guy who was just a little bit off from winning the Cy Young last year. If Tarek Skubal didn't exist, Garrett Crochet was your AL Cy Young last year. I don't see Garrett Crochet getting any worse. In fact, I think I see him improving because he's still young. That's one thing we forget about him is how young he is.
Hmm.
Um, and I really think that could be the year. If he's going to win one, this is probably the year to do it. I don't see him having a late career Garrett Cole or Chris Sale-esque Cy Young. I see him doing it earlier in his career and maybe riding that. And then the reason I don't pick Tarek Skubal is not because I have Skubal fatigue. It's because I don't think that when I think of the pitchers in baseball history that have won the Triple Crown, or excuse me, who have won the Cy Young 3 times in a row. If I'm not mistaken, there's only one, and I think it's Randy Johnson. I know
I
Randy
think you're
did it,
right.
but I think there's only one. And not that I don't think Tarek Skubal isn't maybe the greatest pitcher of this generation or will go down as that. I don't know if I have him in the same league as Randy Johnson yet. If he wins a third one, I have no choice. Um, but I
Yeah.
just don't know if it's possible to maintain that level of success for that long. And even Randy, if he was this year, if it was during today's game with the stats and information that we have at our hands, I don't even know if Randy would have won 3 straight or 4 straight. So I'm going with Garrett Crochet. No disrespect to Tarek Skubal. He could literally just win another one in his sleep. But yeah, Crochet's a Red Sox.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pick him to do it.
Yeah, yeah, it's a good pick. I'm with you. I kind of see what you see about what you're saying about Tarek Skubal. I do think that certainly Tarek Skubal still deserves that conversation of being, that unicorn, that generational talent. Even if he has a good season and doesn't win the Cy Young, what he's done has
Right.
been nothing short of incredible as a left-handed pitcher. Let's remember that too. I mean, it's pretty incredible
Yes.
what he throws from the left side and with regularity. Now with Garrett Crochet, I just this is a guy having seen him for the handful of years in Chicago coming up through that system. Pitching in Major League Baseball is all about adjustments and all about pitching to your strengths. And if there's a guy that does it, or there isn't a guy really, I think that not many guys that do it better than Garrett Crochet as he's evolved as a pitcher. This is a guy who's gone through evolutions, not because he
Hmm.
was tinkering, because his career has literally depended on it. And he's a guy I would bet on 9 times out of 10 to keep doing that and get better.
Yeah. Not to keep beating the dead horse. But maybe the easiest 98 you'll see in MLB. Just the smoothest, silkiest 98
Yeah,
miles an hour you're going to see in baseball, I think, is
it's
Garrett Crochet.
incredible.
So that's got to
It's like
play
a
for something.
pick. It's a pickup game of catch with him, and he's
Yep.
throwing freaking heaters. All right, so that's the American League. As far as the National League Cy Young, we did differ on this, but we both picked Dodgers. I mean, what are the odds of that? Pretty damn high, if we're being honest. So go ahead, Parker. Who do you got for your Dodger NL Cy Young?
Isn't it like time? Is it like, are we on schedule for another Blake Snell Cy Young? Like, it's kind of like, okay, he's had a couple
Oh
weird
yeah.
years, and now we're going to have another Blake Snell incredible year where he kind of starts off the year slow, maybe misses a start or two, and then just has the best second half you've ever seen, and then like goes and wins 3, 4, 5 playoff games. That's how I feel about Blake Snell. We kind of forget because he gets buried in that awesome Dodgers rotation. Maybe we don't see that from him, but he feels like the way that he normally ramps up his season and becomes better later really plays into the way David Roberts has managed this stacked Dodgers rotation over the last couple years, where he likes to give them time to stay healthy in the beginning of the season, maybe miss a start here or there, and then later in the season they just absolutely take off with all the strength and power that they have. So I think this looks like a good year for Blake Snell to really just kind of return to form and become the dominant force that we've known him to be when he's really dealing. And he could win a Cy Young pitching an 160 inning season. Like we've seen him do something like that in the past. Um, and if he's done it before, and if there's a guy who can be dominant in that, so dominant in such a small sample size that they can win a Cy Young, I could see Blake Snell doing it again.
Wow, I mean, yeah, I do think his rotation mate, Yoshinobu Yamamoto, may have an upper hand on Blake Snell. I think both are very much in the Cy Young conversation. We know Blake Snell can absolutely do it
Mhm.
and do a, like you said, like a sub 2 ERA in the second half. We've seen him do it
Right.
before. But with Yamamoto, here's the thing that I find interesting about him. Obviously, last year he was I believe he was the runner up to the NL Cy Young. Paul Skeens ended up winning that. Was
Mhm.
he? I believe he was.
I think so.
But
I'm
in
pulling up BREF right now, so I'll let you know.
yeah, pull it up. But one of the things that I like about Yamamoto is I think last year, sporting a 2.49 ERA, going 12-8. Let's not forget also 201 strikeouts. How many players right now are registering 200 strikeouts, friends? Not a lot. And in
Mm-mm.
less than 180 innings, which is pretty crazy. Now, what I do like about Yamamoto, which I think is always going to put him in the Cy Young conversation, is if you look at his movement profile, his pitch movement profile, this is a guy that has a curveball that has anywhere between about 20 to 24 inches of break, and then a rising fastball with about 16 to 20 inches of ride. Okay. Now, the variance there is absolutely crazy. When you think about some of the pitchers that have the nastiest stuff in the game, Yamamoto is top 3, and that has absolutely carried him when he's sitting 95 on a fastball, which nowadays is an average fastball. So I
Mhm.
have a lot of faith in him to continue to just stymie batters, which he's proved again and again, no matter what lineup he's pitching against, that he's able to do.
Yeah, if you look at his Savant page, it's absolutely insane. Just to answer your question from earlier, he was third in Cy Young voting because Christopher Sanchez had an incredible season last year as well.
Yes.
Um, Super slept on, by the way. I just want to point out Logan Webb led all of the NL in innings pitched with 207 and had more strikeouts than anyone else as well.
Wild. That's wild.
Logan Webb, the
Wow.
sinker baller. Anyway, um, yeah, no, Yamamoto. Look, I say that because I almost picked Logan Webb as my pick in this particular NL Cy Young race, but Yamamoto is incredible. He's so good. He is, I think, the odds-on favorite to win the NL Cy Young, and for good reason. You make great points. His fastball run value, by the way, best in baseball.
Yep.
Best in baseball.
Wow. Well, one thing's for certain, Parker. If we were putting bets on this, we would put this Cy Young to come out of the Dodgers rotation. So let's just put a pin on that.
Yeah, 100%. Now, I'm pretty curious, and I think I know your answer to this question, but I do want to, as we move into the Rookie of the Year predictions, who you got on your radar for AL Rookie of the Year?
Well, I'm going to tell you what, I thought really hard about this for about 2 milliseconds. I'm going with Munetaka Murakami, my guy.
I love it.
And
I
this is
love
not
it.
a homer, ladies and gentlemen. I know you don't
This is
believe me
not
when
a
I
homer
say it.
take.
It is not a homer pick. It's not a homer take. Why? Number one, when you look at other Cy Young candidates in the AL, I do have some legitimate questions. Kevin McGonigal uh, is up there on the betting odds for the top candidate for the Cy Young. We really don't
Rookie of the
know.
Year.
Yes, you're right. Sorry, Rookie of the Year. We really don't know when he's going to be up in the Tigers lineup. It probably won't be at opening day. When will that be? I don't know. We have Trey Savage, who's also going to be considered. He's looks like he's going to start the year on the injured list, so that's a question. But coming back to Murakami, this is a guy that I do think, Parker, even though there is an adjustment period like any other Japanese player coming to the majors, he's still a guy that can fall into 30 to 35 bombs. And if he is actually, hitting to his potential and that learning curve is clipped, you're talking maybe 40, and I don't think that's out of the question.
Yep.
If all things go well, he can fall into 30, hit for 40. And
Hmm.
he's not going to hit for average. He's going to hit 240, 250 on the
Yeah.
high end. Okay, sure, that's fine. But I just think compared to other possible AL Rookie of the Year candidates, he may have a slight edge when it's all said and done.
Yeah, and when it comes to Rookie of the Year, I try to keep there's a certain crowd appeal to a Rookie of the Year. There's a certain, wow, would you
Mm,
look at this guy? Regardless of whether it's maybe the best pick in a given
sure.
season, if it's the sexy pick, a lot of times that guy will win. Murakami is probably at the end of the year. This is a guy who realistically, um, there's a world where he breaks the rookie home run record. Like, this is the kind of
Sure.
hitter we're talking about. And if he does that, then he's going to run away with Rookie of the Year. So if you're a White Sox fan who's hoping for Murakami's ceiling to manifest itself in his first season, then yes, absolutely, he would be the odds-on favorite for AL Rookie of the Year, and I think he is the favorite. Now I went in a different direction. You mentioned that Trey Savage is projected to be on the IL to start the season, but I kind of took the same logic that I just illustrated about Murakami and applied it to Trey Savage, because if Trey Savage does end up coming back within the first month or so of the season and pitches even 70 to 80% of the way that he did in the World Series and the playoff run the Blue Jays put on, I think that fire and that kind of Linsanity run he went on in the playoffs will translate to a lot of hype in the regular season. And especially if the Blue Jays do make another playoff run with Yasevich pitching out of his mind, like he very well could, that's when I think that kind of sex appeal is going to apply to Yasevich, and I think he would win the AL Rookie of the Year. So that's who my pick's going to be.
I love that pick, and I hope for the Blue Jays that does become a reality, because they would strike gold with this guy. And every time I know 5 years from now, Parker, when I think about the 2025 World Series, yeah, I'm going to think about the Dodgers, of course, but I'm gonna think about, when I think about the Blue Jays, I will think about Trey Savage first on that
Yes.
team. I will. And I mean, when does that ever happen, right? A guy like that to make
You
his
don't think
debut
about the
so late in the season.
$550 million Vladimir Guerrero Jr., you think about the rookie? Yeah, absolutely.
Right. It's amazing. And it's because just how good his stuff is, and for him to burst on the scene like he did. So fingers crossed, if he wins, man, I'd be thrilled. Good
So
pick.
actually, it's funny you bring that up, and this is kind of a tangent, but I do want to take 10 seconds to talk about this. The fact that you bring up that you think about Trey Savage, and honestly, the second person I think of about that playoff run is Ernie Clement.
Yes.
Those two guys being the first two guys you think of about that Blue Jays playoff run is why that Blue Jays playoff run feels like a Rangers run. It feels like a flash in the pan.
Wow, that's a really good point. Okay, I feel like that's going to come up again in our standings predictions, but
Yes.
way to reinforce what we talked about 2 weeks ago, because absolutely, absolutely. Very nice. All right, let's go to last award prediction. Let's go to the Rookie of the Year in the NL. Parker, go ahead.
Yeah, so the Rookie of the Year in the NL, the only other person I really considered, so there's two other people that I considered, and then I saw you picked one of them. So I was like, okay, let's pick something else. And then there was Connor Griffin, who I thought about picking, but I don't know if he's going to spend enough time up in the big leagues this season, if any at all, to win the award. I think the year he gets rookie eligibility, if he spends a full season, and doesn't like come up in late May or early June like Roman Anthony did, then I think he runs away with the Rookie of the Year award. So the guy I ended up going with is Bryce Eldridge, a guy who like kind of sneaky had a bunch of big league experience last season, but didn't really fulfill rookie requirements. And now he's still a rookie this year, so he's going to be eligible for the award. So he's had a bunch of big league experience. He's also going to be hitting in a lineup where he's protected by guys like Willy Adames, by guys like Rafael Devers, by guys like Matt Chapman. So I think that Bryce Eldridge is going to be a guy who quietly could hit 25 to 30 home runs. He could drive in 80 to 100 runs. And I think he could hit like 280 and just become like a really solid everyday player in his rookie season, which normally nets you a Rookie of the Year award.
Yeah, that could very well be it. If that's the case, and that all comes to fruition, let's hope he ends up in the Giants lineup quicker,
Yeah.
very quick in this season here, because the news just broke today that he is actually going to start the season in AAA. So let's hope he finds
Yeah.
himself in a major league uniform very quickly, because if he does, Parker, and he figures it out and pieces it together, it's shaping to be what could be one of the best first basemen in baseball if all goes well. That's very
For
interesting.
sure. He really feels like Freddie Freeman did when he was coming up. And I was young
Yes.
when Freddie Freeman was coming up. But it
Yeah.
feels really similar. He's just a solid toolsy hitter. He's not going to be fast. He doesn't have a credible arm, but he's a first baseman. He's going to play decent defense. He's going to knock the ball out of the ballpark every once in a while. And if he can become Freddie Freeman, well, we've seen what Freddie Freeman was. And he feels very similar to that.
I went for my NL Cy Young, or I keep saying Cy Young. What the hell's going on? The NL Rookie of the Year. I went with a pitcher, New York Mets starter Nolan McLean. And this is someone, Parker, that I feel like not many baseball fans, unless you're really deep into this every day, really have on their radar. Nolan McLean.
Yeah.
Nolan McLean is number 6 in the MLB pipeline, top 100, number 1 Mets prospect. He is someone that when you look at kind of Yamamoto, how I talked about his pitches, he's got a rising fastball and then a wicked curveball. Nolan McLean works the zone left and right, okay, and he
Yes, he
does so
does.
with an absolutely wicked sinker and sweeper. And I mean, you never know where these pitches are going, and his stuff is some of the best in the game today. So much so that Bryce Harper made comments in the World Baseball Classic about how he was so impressed by this young guy, and he's going to get a full runway with the Mets. So when we talk about the next kind of up and coming top tier ace potential pitchers, I think Nolan McLean could be that guy.
Absolutely. The way that his stuff tunnels feels unfair. The way that his sinker and sweeper are basically like just polar opposites of each other, but they look the same coming out of the hand.
Yeah.
He's going to be very special, I think. And I could totally see him winning Rookie of the Year. I could see, honestly, I could see him at top 5 Cy Young vote season just as a rookie.
If that happens, we were talking about a very special career. We're talking about, and I don't mean to
Yes.
be hyperbolic, but if that happens, we're talking about Nolan McLean in 3 years, like we're talking about Tarek Skubal right now.
Yeah. You know who he reminds me of is Strasburg.
Oh,
He reminds
let's
me a
hope
lot of
just in
Steven
the
Strasburg.
talent and nothing else.
Right. Yeah. Hopefully he can maintain some durability unlike Strasburg, but his
Uh,
stuff and his profile reminds me of Strasburg. There's not
yeah,
anywhere near the amount of hype like there was with Strasburg's debut, but
no,
that's how he
no.
feels to me.
Wow, that's good comp. All right, that was award predictions for 2026. Let's get to the meat and potatoes, the good stuff.
Hmm.
Where is this all going to land come the end of September with the standings in each of the divisions? Let's go ahead and go through each division. We'll tell you our order and how many wins each team will have in that division. Let's start in the NL, and let's go to the seemingly obvious division, the NL West. So, Parker, take me through 1 to 5. Who do you got? And it's assigned wins.
NL West. That's where we're starting.
Yep.
Is it because it's the easiest one?
I would like to think so, but tell
All
me
right.
otherwise.
I got Dodgers at 101. And I don't think that that's a reach. The over under, I believe, is 102. The line, gambling line.
Jeez.
I got the Padres at 91. The Giants at 88. The Diamondbacks for me are 83, and the Rockies are at 63.
Wow. All right. So you and I did match on the standings. We did match. I did give the Dodgers 102. I did give them the 102.
Okay.
Um, I also gave the Padres 91. The Giants I had in third. I had a little less of a run total for them. I think they're going to be around 83.
Okay.
The D-backs, we were really close. I went 82 to your 83. And then the Rockies, I shit on them just a little more, gave them a 61 instead of a 63. But wow, we were really close on that one.
So repeat those. I want to annotate yours as well because I really want to see how these shake out. So you had 82 for the D-backs, 61 for the Rockies. Giants, you had what, 83?
83.
And we were 91 on the Padres, and you gave the Dodgers 102. Okay, cool.
Yeah, that was really damn close. This is the part base. This is the best part of this. To see how close we were to each other's
I
guesses.
I love. We're always like this though too. We always give like are right along the same predictions. NL Central. Why don't you go first on this one?
All right. NL Central, I have the Cubs at 96. I think it is within the realm of possibility they get that high if everything goes right.
Whoa.
I have the Pirates in second, friends. In second. Now, don't get too excited. They're in second with Not a crazy amount of wins. They're at 84.
Okay.
Yeah, now it's starting to make more sense. The Reds at
Okay.
82. The Brewers are sinking a little bit in the fourth spot at 78 wins, and the Cardinals are really going to feel the heat with 69 wins in the cellar.
Okay. Cool. All right. So we're a little different here.
Ooh.
I have also the Cubs in first, but I have them at 92 wins. Uh, I have both of the Reds and the Pirates at 82 wins. So we were sames on the Pirates,
Whoa.
or sames on the Reds, but Pirates I have 82. Um, the Brewers I have 81, and then the Cardinals I have 73.
Okay, so you're a little bit higher on the bottom teams, which I don't think is out of the realm of possibilities for the NL Central, because the NL Central
Mm-hmm.
will eat each other alive and will force
Yeah.
those wins potentially to be a little higher. But I want to talk about the Cubs real quick, because the Cubs, I think the way that we pick their wins, it's actually the perfect range for them. I think they end up in that 92 to 96 win range. I think that's reasonable.
Yeah, I do too. I think if anything other than that happens, I think that they severely failed. Like I think this is the season they have to win 96 to 92 games. The thing with the Cubs though that I'm noticing that with my numbers and the way that my wins shuck out, it's almost like you gave most of the wins in the division to the Cubs and took them away from the bottom teams, and I spread them out a little more evenly. And
Yeah,
I think that I'm just trying to juice my own get picks up, but I think that's kind of how we see baseball play out more often than not. It's just that this
right.
NL Central feels so top heavy that honestly it could be the year that you're right. Absolutely.
Yeah, makes perfect sense. All right, go ahead and get us started on the NL East.
Okay. So the NL East, I'm gonna go Mets at 97 wins.
Oh my God. Okay. Whew.
Yeah. Because I think that if it's gonna click with Nolan McLean, and if the rotation ends up being pretty good, like we think it's going to be pretty good. And if the lineup really kicks into gear and Juan Soto's still there, man, like, I don't know. I feel like in this division, I don't see many other teams separating themselves. And this is kind of like I'm doing the Cubs thing you did in that division in this in NL East, because I get lower and lower on this NL East every time I think about it, because I have the Phillies in second place and I only have them at 88 wins. And then I've got,
Whoa.
yeah, I don't know, man. I just don't.
Wow.
Maybe I'm the weirdo here, but I just don't believe anymore. Um,
Interesting.
I'm out on the age. I'm out on Wheeler not being around. I think that the Nick Castellanos and Bryce Harper like yapping a little bit that happened at the beginning of the season. I think that that doesn't just happen in the same clubhouse for zero reason. And we kind of see this would be the second team in a row we've seen a Dombrowski regime kind of devolve into this state of like yipping and yapping and everybody kind of being unsatisfied with the amount of effort and talent they've put in the same room tend to have bad results. Um, so yeah, okay, Phillies at 88, and then I'm gonna go Braves at 84, Marlins 81, and Nationals 69.
All right, not too shabby there. I reversed to the Phillies and the Mets. I am riding the Phillies until I can no longer, and I think the Mets are going to Met, because that's what the Mets do, despite
Okay.
McLean. So I'm going Phillies in first with 94. I
Wow.
do think that's honestly, I think that's pretty high. I think you're making me second guess that. I guess 94, but they could win this with like 90, 91, if we're being honest.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Mets I have at 89, just missing 90 wins.
Mm-hmm.
The Braves I have at a 81 and 81. I do not have
81.
faith in these Braves at all.
Okay.
Marlins 80. I think they're going to have a little bit better of a season by a win or two. And then the Nats I have at 67.
Whoa. 67. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, not as bad as another team I know that plays in Denver, just so you know. But pretty bad.
All right.
Okay.
So where we go next? AL West?
Let's do it. AL West. So the AL West, I have no surprise the Mariners in first with 92 wins.
Ooh.
Yes, just 92. And I think your strategy that you took where you condensed the NL Central is what I did with the AL West, because I have the Athletics in second with a staggering 87 wins. I am being an A's homer all day. Take it to the bank.
No,
Just
you'll get why I'm laughing in a second.
oh my God. Did you do the same? Never mind. Okay, we'll get there. Wow, we are both so pathetic with our love for the A's. All right. No. Third place, the Rangers, 84.
Okay.
Fourth place, the Astros. I think they're going to fall off, but I think they're still going to Astro because they're going to annoy the crap out of me again. They're in fourth, but they have 83 wins. And then the Angels are going to have a respectable 72, but last in the division.
Okay. All right. I have Mariners at 91. So one lower than you gave them. And I have the A's at 86. One lower than you gave them. and then we're pretty close to I have Rangers 82. I have Astros 78. Much lower on the Astros. 5 wins lower, but I have the Angels at 76.
Oh, wow. Okay, you're quite over on the Angels. That's a lot for the Angels.
I was like this
80?
when we did the division preview as well. When we did the division preview, I told you there's a world where this Angels team is a third place team.
Wow. Okay. That's interesting. Now, I'll say this about the Angels. That was before we saw Alex Manoah actually shit the bed in spring training, and Grayson Rodriguez is starting the season injured. So, but whatever.
That's very
whatever.
true. That was in like, what if everything works out and Alex Manoah's competing for a Cy Young? That was what that was. So,
yeah.
Notice it's
how
not
naive
a third place,
we were.
76 wins.
How naive we were a mere 3 weeks ago. That's funny.
I know.
All right.
Let me kick off the AL Central. Let me kick it off.
Do it.
All right. So I've got Tigers at 88.
Ooh.
I have Royals at 87. I have Guardians at 83. White Sox at 71 and Twins at 70.
Wow. All right. People are really going to think I'm going to homer on this one. I swear. I'm not. I swear. Stop.
No,
Don't give me a hard time.
But it's okay.
I know. All right. Tigers, I feel a little better about the Tigers. I think they could eclipse 90 wins. They'll go to 91, I think.
Okay.
I think the Royals will be in second I'm right there with you, but at 86. Mm-hmm. I also think the Guardians will be in third at 83 wins. The White Sox, I think they will be in fourth place with 78 wins. Okay.
I was just going to say if it's below 80, it's not a homer take.
Right. Like, I think 78 wins for a team like that could be, and everything goes right for the White Sox, equates to 78 wins.
Dude, can you imagine a world where this White Sox team goes out there and wins with 78 wins? It's basically winning every other day. Like, that'd be a pretty good team to watch this year.
100%. And then in last place, I also have, I think you said 72, but for the Twins, 70 wins. 70, yeah, I have that too. Wow, that's interesting. All right, so like we usually do, we always save the...
disagreed on any division position yet?
No, we have not. Well, if you're coming here for shock and awe, you're not getting it here, so I don't know why you're sticking around.
We talk ourselves into these things, I think. I think we just talk ourselves into it.
It's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. Yeah,
we did this. This is what, the third year in a row we have basically 100% agreed on everything. Okay.
Well, hold on. There's still. I think we may disagree on this last one because I think we did during the previews. So, this is your division. So go ahead and kick off the AL East.
Okay, I have The Red Sox at 90 wins. Again, I will never be the guy who picks the Red Sox not to win the division in a year where they could win the division. I also just think that 90 wins is on the table for this team. I think that the way that all these
Yeah.
players have played in the World Baseball Classic justifies that.
Yeah.
And then tied for second place, I have two teams.
Wow.
The Toronto Blue Jays at 88 wins and the Baltimore Orioles at 88 wins.
Interesting. Wow, that's really interesting. Huh.
And then I have the Yankees at 87 and I have the Rays at 81. And New York Yankees fans are not allowed to be mad at me because I literally predicted the Yankees to get the same amount of wins as Zips, which I don't think they will do, but I gave it the benefit of the doubt.
Okay, that is just nuts. Everything you just said, and you're going to see why in a second. I said we could possibly differ here. Of course, we did not. We're in the
Oh my
same
God,
order.
no way.
We are. So there's that idea out the window. But my numbers are a little interesting here. We
I was
kind
gonna
of
say you're
inversed.
out on the Rays, all right, right? Like you're not.
I'm out, but now not by as much as you think. So at the top,
Okay.
you'll be surprised by this. I actually have two teams at the top of the division with the same record.
Okay.
I have Red Sox at 93, and I have Blue Jays at 93. I think the Red Sox 93. I have
Wow.
I I have the Red Sox edging them out in head-to-head play by literally a game or two. That's why they're going to win the division. I also agree that the Orioles are in third at 88. I also agree that the Yankees will win 87. And the Rays, I know. I know. Oh, Yankees fans, they're coming after us hard. And then the Rays, I was a little more generous with them, actually. I gave them 83.
83. So you think that there are 5 definitively winning teams in this division?
I do.
Wow. Yeah. No,
do.
I mean, I have every one of them at least at 500. So I agree. I think this division is intriguing to say the least.
So let me just do some quick stuff on paper here. So I have on here, if we're looking at boom, 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 boom. Okay, so it's three division winners, 3 wildcard teams, right? So it would be, if I'm going through here, I'm going based off of my numbers, which yours were pretty close, so we're not going to be all that off of this. So in the AL, our prediction for playoff teams are in the AL, the Red Sox, the Blue Jays, the Orioles, the Tigers, the Mariners, and the Athletics in the playoffs.
Well,
Bubba.
I have the Yankees over the A's. You have the
Okay,
Yankees
that's
tied
true.
with the A's, and I'm assuming you have the A's edging out the head-to-head.
I do.
So
That is wild. That is absolutely insane. All right, NL.
yeah. In
Let's
the
just look at the
NL,
NL real quick. So in the NL, this is where it gets kind of crazy in the NL because you have teams that have won 83 games making them the playoffs, friends. We have. Oh, wait, did I do this right?
Dodgers,
3,
Cubs,
6.
Mets.
Yes, so it's Dodgers, Cubs, Mets, Phillies, Pirates, Padres.
You have Pirates?
I do.
I have Dodgers, Padres, Giants.
Yeah, I have the Pirates with
Cubs,
one more win than the Giants.
Phillies, and then Braves.
Yeah, you gave Braves 84 wins. I gave them 81. I gave the Pirates one more win than the Giants, so that's where we differ there.
Yeah. Interesting. I'm going to
Wow.
actually share this. I have a little graphic that I'm working off of right now, just so we can talk about it for a sec. But yeah, no, I mean, It's pretty incredible.
Oh man.
Like
Wow, check
this is
this out.
we the fact that we ended up being as close as we were is still just who the hell do we think we are?
I mean, that is just it's just staggering. So, okay, let's end it this way with with these predictions. Obviously, we've laid out the awards for you here today. We've laid out these standings. Parker, as we are a week out of games that matter. It's insane to even say that. Tell me which teams here, two teams of all baseball, that you are excited to follow this year because you think they can outperform expectations.
Um, I mean I the A's are huge for me. I think I'm gonna watch a bunch of A's baseball this year.
Mhm.
Jenny and Dallas do a great job calling games over there. It's just a good environment. There's a lot of offense in those games. It's just exciting. I still
Yeah.
think they have like the best uniforms in baseball, and there's a lot to be excited about. The young talent on that team is so much fun. And then the other team that's got me like super excited is the White Sox, man. And
Nice.
it's a lot of you, but it's also a Murakami, and I love Miguel Vargas, and I love Chase Mydroth and Colson Montgomery, and I want to see all these guys play good ball. I love Benintendi still with everything in me. Like I want to see these guys play some ball, and you guys have some really good pitching to get excited about. Hagen Smith and all the cast and crew over there. Yeah, no, I think I'm gonna watch a bunch of White Sox baseball, a bunch of A's baseball, and then every single Boston Red Sox game.
Man, I love that. I love that. Man, I wish I would have picked two other teams. Of course, I agree with you. Those are the two teams. Like this is the most boring content we
God,
could
dude, we
ever
would just be
possibly
one
create.
person talking. We
Yeah,
just waste all
right.
of your time by having both of us speak.
Hi, welcome to Rallycap. This is Anthony on behalf of Parker, and I'm here to give you season
Dude, can we talk
predictions.
about the fucking Cincinnati Reds? Nobody knows what's going to happen with that team. You've got Hunter Green out with elbow problems, and both of us were like 82.
You know what? It's 82 because of Nick Lodolo. That's the only reason
Yeah,
we
he
have
could win a
82 in
Cy
there.
Young, dude. He's crazy.
Well, I'll say this, Parker. I'll do two different teams than you gave up, but I am going to say the Cincinnati Reds. Why? Because I think people forget they're still a younger team. There's some talent
Yeah.
there. I mean, you do have Ellie there still. I really do like Spencer Steer, McLean. I like that rotation.
Mm-hmm.
You have Abbott, and
Abbott's
Lodolo.
the
I mean,
opening day starter.
my God, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Chase
there's
Burns,
some potential. Chase Burns. That's a team
Tito,
that
man.
and Tito, X Factor Tito. I mean, that's a team where we could be looking at them. We predicted 82, 86, 88. Not out of the picture if things go well. I mean,
No.
so we'll see. So I'm going to give the Cincinnati Reds an extra look this year. I'm also, just because I'm curious, last year, we saw the Marlins take an interesting step forward, and they're a scrappy team that's run by data and analytics. They seemingly have put the right people in the right spot there for the first time in a decade. I just am interested to see if these young players take a step forward, led by Kyle Stowers there. It could get interesting for Miami this year.
Yeah, I mean, I have him going 500, which would be a massive win for the Marlins. I think both of
Yeah.
us. You have 80. Yeah, you have 80 wins.
Yeah.
So I think that both of us are high on the Marlins, and to just kind of like, okay, you know what always gets me is it's WBC years where we watch the final of the WBC, and there's 30,000 fans packed into the stadium, and that place is the most intense baseball atmosphere you might see all season. And then when the Marlins opening day comes around, there is not a soul to be seen. And that is such a shame for a
Yeah.
community that clearly loves baseball as much as they do. So, yeah, I like the Marlins. I want them to be good. Let's get them good. 81 wins from me.
Heck yeah. I love that. All right, Parker, let's go ahead and pull this off the screen here and kind of end it this way. 2026 season, man, we've been doing this for 3 years now, and I can't believe we're entering another season of you and I enjoying baseball, shooting the shit all season long. Um, It's going to be really fun. We have your app. We talked about Parker's app, Short Hop. If you haven't gone and watched that little quick 5-minute video on this new incredible app, make sure you please go over there and learn what Parker is doing. So we're going to have the Hop app this season. We're going to have the Red Sox taking a leap forward, the White Sox taking a leap forward. Parker, this may be the best season of baseball yet.
Yeah, man, I can't wait. This is going to be a good one. I'm really excited.
And we are going to be here for it all year long. So make sure you're liking, subscribing to all the work we're doing here at Rally Cap. Thanks for joining us for more baseball talk. Take care.